What's up everybody, Super WRX fan here, and today I want to give you a full in-depth tour of this brand new 2013 Lexus ES350. And this is going to be a full in-depth tour of the ES. We're going to, start it up, get an engine, exhaust clip. We're also going to go through the whole exterior, the interior of the car. I'll show you every little nook and cranny of it and all the features on this car. Alright, so let's start it up and let it run. So this car has keyless entry and keyless start like my BRZ. So the same way, you just have the plastic key fob here. You just put it in your pocket, and the car is currently locked right now, and you just walk up to it, and it opens. And then, to lock it, there's a little pad here. Touch that, and it locks. And then it's locked up. And then, again, you open it, you unlock it. Totally keyless. That's always a nice feature. I really appreciate that in my BRZ, and it's nice that Lexus has a standard on this car as well. Alright, so as you can see, this car has the beige leather interior with the black accents on the dash. So let's start it up here. It has an engine start button, and like I said, it's keyless start, so you just hold that and everything starts up. Has the screen, Lexus Inform system that boots up, and very nice startup sequence. So let's turn on the hazard lights as well as the headlights and take a look around outside. So the front of this car is completely restyled for 2013. They've went over the ES and made everything completely brand new on this car. As you can see, they've integrated the new signature Lexus grille on this car, as they're doing on all of the Lexus cars now from here on out. The front end of this car I think looks really nice. So you have these daytime LED running lights that run up here with the little L shape. There's also the xenon headlights here that are really nice. You have the, just the way the whole thing is set up is really nice. You have your fog lights down here. Very clean design for those. I like the little chrome finish that there is on that. Just really, adds a touch of refinement. The grille here, has chrome on the edges. This is just a gray plastic material, but it looks really good. I like the way it looks, because if this was all chrome, I think it'd be a little bit too much. You have a nice big Lexus badge here. It's not raised or anything. It's just covered in clear plastic, but it still is a really nice, big badge. I think that it really works well with the front end of this car. Also it has a little bit of a lip here, a little chin going on. It's a really nice looking car. I really like the way the front end design, it reminds you of the awesome Lexus concept cars that you've seen over the years. This car is finished in a black cherry pearl kind of color, and as you can see in the sunlight here, there's some metal flake in the paint, and it really looks nice. Especially, it almost has a brown hue to it. It's really cool depending on what light you're looking at it in. So now around to the side here, we have the standard rims on this car. This car is running on Michelin Primacy tires, and it's running the 215 5517s, and the Michelins are always really good tire. My BRZ has Michelins as well, and they're a pretty good tire. The rim design is pretty nice on these. Multi-spoke design. You have the really big brakes behind the rims that you can just barely see, and it's a really nice rim design. It has like a satin finish almost. The way it's a shiny. It's not just a dull alloy. It's got a really nice satin finish to it. I like the way it looks a lot. Matches the rest of this car's elegant style really well. You have little turn signal indicators here in the mirrors with, again, more chrome around here. The chrome accents on this car are really what set it off really sharp. More chrome here. It's just, everything's really nice the way everything's accented and finished. You have a chrome running along the top here. You have the really big moon roof and the shark fin antenna for the Sirius satellite radio and your standard radio as well. And as we go around to the back, you have your gas door there. have the tail lights, which have that really nice LED rope kind of design, you know, with the individual segmented rows of lights that look really nice at night. You have the standard, you know, traditional turn signal bulbs there. Have a reflector down here, and there's this nice piece of black, like plastic. It's a little lip almost that finishes off the under tray of the back end here, and it looks really good. That combined with the chrome exhaust tips, I think, you know, they really didn't go cheap on anything on the exterior of this car. Everything's very nicely finished. You have, you know, this chrome strip here on the trunk, you know, the nice big Lexus badge here, nice ES badge there. Everything just, it's just very nicely finished. You know, compared to the previous ES, this is a huge improvement. It looks a lot better in my opinion. It even has some curves, if you can see kind of down the side here how it's bulging out on the back doors there. And I mean, so it's nice to see curves on a car like this. It's very contemporary styling. I really like the way it looks a lot. Let's go ahead and pop the hood and look underneath. Show you the engine of this car. This car has, as the 350 would suggest, a 3.5 liter V6 engine making 268 horsepower. And it's quite a good motor. It's got the struts to hold it up, so you don't have to worry about propping up the hood. And you know, can't see a whole lot under here with all the plastic, but you know, it looks really nice as far as the engine cover is concerned. I mean, it looks good. Nothing to complain about under here. So now let's check out the interior of this car. So like I said, this has the beige interior, and it has this nice stitching here. You can see it's one of the first things, the black contrast stitching really jumps out at you when you look at this door. Very nice, soft, you know, supple stuff here. This is a little bit of a harder plastic, but it's, you know, still a little bit squishy. It's not totally firm. This is really nice leather here, though. I really like the way this feels. Very, very nice, soft leather. And even, I mean, small little things like in here, this is like carpeted down here at the bottom. I mean, just little things like that that really add to the refinement of this car. It has nice wood grain trim here that's very solid. You know, there's no panel gap. It's just very well built, well put together. You have some more of that hard plastic. This is, you know, black up here. You have your windows, you know, down here, the window switches and all that stuff, you know, unlock, lock, and you know, it's auto up and auto down. So I mean, everything is totally automated, which is always nice. Of course, that's something you expect in a new Lexus, but it's nice, you know, they have that. Has the memory seats here, so you have, you know, 1, 2, and 3, so you can set each of them so it remembers your seating position. So if you and your wife share the same car, you don't have to worry about constantly adjusting the seat. It'll do it for you, and it'll also do it to the key as well if you have different keys. Power seats over here, you know, the standard adjustments for forward, backwards, you know, and it has even the little lumbar support is also automated. So you press that and the middle of the seat will come out, you know, to support the middle of your back. So hopping in it here, you can see your little trunk releases right here. You have the gas door release right here. You have, you know, your parking assist here. You have your blind spot monitoring. You can turn it off and on. It's always on automatically, but you can turn it off if you don't like it. Blind spot monitoring is really nice because, you know, what it'll do is, like on other cars, you'll see the little indicator there to let you know that there's a car in your blind spot. That way, you know, it'll also give you that audible warning as well if it senses you starting to move over. That way, you know, it'll give you a little warning so you don't have to worry about being paranoid about your blind spots. So you have the e-brake is down here at the floor, you know, push on and off. Traditional foot pedal for that. Standard pedals, you know, nothing out of the ordinary there. You have your power mirror switches up here. And this is the gauge cluster. So very nice design, very clean, as you can see. And and everything about this is just really nice. Steering wheel has all your basic buttons. You have your volume up and down here. You have a skip track button here, mode for, you know, different audio modes. Over on this side, you have voice recognition. You have a back button as you're going through the menus, which is nice to just have a back button to just get out of things. Just hit that and it takes you back. You have your phone controls here, and you have your display for the middle little display as to what information you'd like it to display for you. You have your headlight controls here. Like it's in full on right now. There's the auto mode, there's the parking lights, and then there's daytime running lights off if you ever want to just totally turn those off. And then you also have your fog lights here. You know, they're switched on. You can turn those off if you'd like. And then over here, you know, you have your windshield wipers, basic, you know, controls, nothing out of the ordinary there. So going to the center console here, very, very nicely finished. Again, you have contrast stitching in all of this car. So now this is black, you have this, you know, gray kind of stitching going on, and it's really nicely done. According to the Lexus marketing, there's only 12 people in the world certified to sew this. This is hand sewn, and it's really well done. And if that's true, that craftsmanship is impressive because it's very straight. And that's a nice feature, just to have, you know, little stitching like that. The little things, the small things that Lexus does, really what set these cars apart as being really refined. So you have a nice big screen here for navigation and stuff. It fits nicely with the car because it's kind of recessed away, and you can see this progressive line here that kind of fades away, so it doesn't get in your face. Even though it is a large screen, it's, you know, set far enough back in the actual unit that it, you know, it doesn't distract you a whole lot. You have a nice little analog Lexus clock here that's always a nice little touch, even though, you know, a lot of people don't actually use it, but it's cool anyway. You have, you know, your volume knob here. You push it to turn on the radio, and it's the radio system in this car is really good. I mean, just you can hear the bass. If you have headphones on, you can hear the bass and everything. This car has the basic 8-speaker sound system, but it is surround sound still, and it sounds amazing. The sound system is really nicely done. It gives you a totally immersive feel. It's one of the best sound systems that I've actually tried out recently. I'll turn off the hazard lights so you don't have to keep hearing the clicking. You know, so you have your basic controls up here for ejecting the disc, things like that. You know, the different media settings and all of that stuff. You have your climate controls down here, you know, for increasing and decreasing the temperature, fan controls, you know, recycling modes, all that kind of stuff is right there within easy access, and has a little, you know, readout of what temperature you've selected. This car has just heated seats. If it had cooled, it would go blue the other way, but this one just has the red, and that's how you turn on the heated seats. This car has a heated steering wheel, so that is this little button here, and that'll turn on the heating on the steering wheel, which is very nice in the wintertime if you live in a cold area. You have the rear sunshade button here, so you hit that, and sunshade goes up, and you hit it again, and it automatically retracts. It's always a nice feature to have in luxury cars as well. And you have the passenger's heated seat there. You have this driving dynamics button here. So it's in normal right now, and when it's in normal, it's got just the standard. As you're driving, you'll see the blue aura of the gauges. But as you go and put it over into sport, you'll see this turns red up here. And so it lets you know that you're in sport mode, and then you can turn it to the left, and that's eco mode, and then it turns the blue color to kind of, you know, evoke a mellow kind of attitude about the driving experience. And so then you also have a traction control off button right here if you want to just manually turn it off. You have a cup holder here. Your other cup holder is down here. You have your gear shifter here, basic Lexus, you know, gear shifter here. There's no surprises. You can just, you know, put it into drive. You know, sport mode is up and down for manual shifting capabilities. There are no paddle shifters on this car, so that's the only way that you can manually shift the car. Then you have your controls for that little screen that you saw up there. You know, big screen actually.
And so there's the menu, map, if you want to go straight to the map. It has this little mouse joystick thingy that is very intuitive. I know it's gotten mixed reviews, but I really like the way this works. It's like you have a mouse in the car, so it's a lot more intuitive and easy to use to me than it is using a wheel, where you have to go through 15 turns to get it to something you want. This is just, as I'll show you with the screen here, you know, it just you just move it around, and it's a little touchy, you know, so maybe if you're driving on a bumpy road, this would be hard to select the thing you actually want to use, but otherwise, I mean, it's really nice. The animations for everything is really nice in here, so I'll go through all these menus with you later, but this also has force feedback, so you'll feel it like clicking a little bit, and then whenever you want to select something, you just hit down, and it'll, you know, select the thing that you've chosen. And it has this really nice little leather handrest thing here, you know, so you can, it's very nicely thought out to have something like this here, because this would be kind of uncomfortable to be constantly going like this, but to have it like this, it's very natural feeling, and this is a great place just to rest your hand as you're driving. It really feels cool. I like that idea. That Lexus is really the only one that has a hand rest like that on the right hand side here, and I really like that. So you have your storage compartment in here, you have your USB jack and audio jack, you know, auxiliary. You have the power outlet. You have this little tray that slides back and forth, and it's deep enough to fit a phone in there, you know, or some other small device like that, like an iPod. But this is really deep, this, you know, cubby. So I mean, I can, you know, it goes really far down, so you can store a lot of things in there if you want. Okay, so this is the menu of the Lexus system, and I'm going to be using that little joystick and just going through how all of you know, these things work. I'm not going to go too in depth here, but I'll just show you the basics, you know, as far as destination, you know, previous destination, address book, go to more, and it'll, you know, go through if you want to add coordinates in or whatever, you know, it's standard navigation system kind of stuff. Go up to back, and you have info and apps. If you have your phone synced up, you can actually use your phone's apps. That's what that first icon is. You have your fuel consumption, traffic incidents, so anything going on, you know, it'll use XM Nav traffic to update you on traffic conditions. Lexus Insider, you have XM Nav and weather, and stocks, sports, fuel prices. I mean, it does it all in here. I mean, anything you want information-wise, it's right there at your fingertips. And then you go to setup, and this has all of your basic, you know, general settings for the vehicle, for syncing your phone up, navigation, how loud you want the navigation voice to be, audio, all of that kind of stuff you can access through that menu. Go down to radio, and you can select AM, FM, satellite. If I had my phone synced up, you know, you would have other options, but you know, it's very easy to use, and Bluetooth audio is right there, USB, disc. Anything you want is, you know, right there. And again, I'm just using the joystick, and it's very quick, as you can see. I mean, it's very, very responsive. There's no wait time at all for this menu system. It just immediately does exactly what you want it to do. And the animations, as you can see, very nice. This is just a really well thought out system. I really like the way this works. And then if you don't want to go straight to the radio, you know, the AM, FM, satellite, you can hit the media button, and then that'll just take you to all the other stuff. It's basically a little redundant from the previous menu, but you know, either way you want to access it, either one works. Climate here, if you don't like using the, you know, hard buttons, you have everything up here you can customize through the screen as well. And you can make all the same changes that you would make through those buttons. But I prefer the buttons. I think most people do. And I'm glad that they've separated it, so you still have hard buttons to use. But it's, you know, it's nice to have that up there to, if, you know, your passenger wants to play around with it or whatever, they can. And then lastly, you have your phone. So if your phone was synced up, you know, you have a keypad there. You can see you can dial numbers, messages. It'll do texting and all of that stuff too. Contacts, you know, sync all your phone contacts up with this. It's, you know, really nice system. I haven't heard too many complaints about the functionality of this Lexus system. People just don't like this joystick, but I love it. So you're gonna have to just play around with it yourself and decide. But it's so quick and responsive. I don't see any reason to dislike it myself. Alright, so let's turn it off and go check out the back seat. telling me my lights are on. Turn that back to auto. Okay. So you have speakers there. You know, if you had the upgraded sound system, you would have speakers up here as well. And so here is the back seat. Very, you know, large. So that's the one thing that just amazed me whenever I saw this back seat for the first time, is how huge it is. I mean, this is like 7 Series or A8 levels of legroom back here. It's just huge. Way more than you would get out of a BMW 3 Series or even a 5 Series. It's a lot of legroom. Very impressive on a car that has a base price of $35,000. This one, as is shown, is $41,000. So I mean, it's really a good value as far as luxury and interior space goes. So you have a nice Lexus metal kick plate down here. You have another speaker here. You have your window controls. Everything, you know, as you would expect. Has the same nice leather padding here on the back seat as it did in the front. Same kind of deal. Looks, you know, really nice. And these back seats, I'll sit down and show you. I mean, I have so much room. I mean, even, you know, I'm 5'9", and as you can see, I mean, I still have tons of knee room. I mean, it's just, and the car has lots of elbow room as well. I mean, it's very, very spacious back here. You have, you know, the vents for your air conditioning here. There's a good shot of the moonroof from back here. You have reading lights, you know, for the back here that are a nice touch as well. You have the center console here. It pulls down, and this will flip up when you have 2 cup holders there. And this is a very nice, soft, squishy leather. Very nice for resting your arms on long trips. There's a ski pass-through, if that's something that you use. It's right there. And I also like that there's very little transmission tunnel. This is a pretty flat floor in here, which is really nice to have. You know, it just adds to the effect of having a large back seat space. These map pockets also extend out, so you can, you know, put more things in there if you'd like. And I mean, this is a fairly soft plastic here, and you know, the leather seats and everything. It's really nice view back here. Very nice place to spend time. Okay, and then going to the trunk area. Now, trunks on these cars, this is definitely better than the previous ES, I think, but it's still, I think you get a little more room in the 3 Series and the 5 Series as you do in here. I'd have to check the specs, but still a very nice trunk. You have a nice carpeted mat here, and you know, lots of room. I mean, it's plenty for, you know, I'd say easily, you know, 2 large suitcases and probably 1 or 2 small ones on top of it, and your duffel bags you can put in the sides. Has this cargo mat, that's a dealer option, of course, and you know, so that's good for groceries, so they don't fly all over the place. Yeah, I mean, everything in this car is really nice. I mean, you also see, you know, there's a trunk release here that, you know, would work whenever you're walking up to the car with it locked. You also have the rear backup camera is there. Yeah, that's basically it though, guys. I mean, this is really nice car. Lots of features like I showed you. I mean, it's just a lot of car for your money. For $35,000 base price, this is astounding. And I've driven this car as well. It drives really well. And yeah, so if you're in the market for something like this, I would definitely check this one out. This is a huge step over the previous ES. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. So let's take it for a drive and see how it goes. Alright, so I've been driving this car around for a little while now.